Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's performance. I appear to be a floating head. This choice of t-shirt was terrible. Thank you for joining us, everyone. We are the Boys from the Baltic Star, and we are here hopefully to entertain and, more importantly, to get to the bottom of this dastardly murder aboard the Seamstress, because there is murder out there. Someone has done it. We need to find who chopped our lovely rock man friend into 6 pieces. Not that sort of rock, more geology rocks, which is equally cool in the Traveller universe. Anyway, my name is Luke. Hello. I'm in charge of Kara and Soraya on the mission, and I just bobble around in this corner like my little head. Boop, 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 boop. Next to me is my friend and colleague. It is Agnar and Stefan himself. It is Ewan. Good evening, Ewan. How are you?
Hi, Luke. I'm pretty good, thanks. Pretty good. Been a nice week.
I love it when you have a nice week. It fills me with joy. Can we do a nice week fist bump, please?
Do a nice week fist bump.
I don't have to duck this time.
No, you don't. And you don't, because sitting on the end like a bad smell in his in his Twin Peaks dream room. That's like the Barbie dream house. In his Twin Peaks dream room, it is the dream weaver himself. It is GM / referee Ben. How are you, Ben?
Pretty good, actually. Busy week, but a largely productive one, and very much looking forward to switching off work mode now.
You said we're going to make you work hard tonight.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past you.
There's a lot of doors on this ship we haven't looked behind. There's a lot of people we haven't spoken to.
We've had a lot of time to plan, and we haven't at all.
It's never good when players think they're in charge.
Oh no, he's going to bring Fess back.
You know
it. You turn around and Anton Fess is there. No! Stroking the back of your neck.
He would as well.
He would just to freak us out. Thank you for those of you that are here already. For those of you that are watching on demand, hello, good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, or whenever it is. Who, both of us or one of us? Let me do that. There you go. I bumped us both up a bit. Hopefully that'll be okay. Thank you. We like it when people give us such feedback. But yes, thank you. If you're here for the first time, welcome. We really welcome you guys that are here for the first time. If you're here all the time, welcome. We love you guys a lot. Those that are here often will know that that little red sun, if you click it, that's your Imperial credits. I believe if you follow us, they go up a little bit quicker or something. I can't remember how it works. Something happens. You can spend them, and please do. Please spend them unwisely. Please spend them frivolously. And please get involved in the chat. We'll chat as we can. We might talk or we might sort of message if we're not involved in something at the minute. We love the interaction. You're part of the crew just as much as we are. It's just you don't have to put your face on camera. Just got 3 stupid guys instead.
We'll take damage.
Exactly.
The best of both worlds.
Exactly that. So speaking of taking damage, I will drink to that. It's time to hand over to our tamed damage giver. It is our referee, Ben.
Why, thank you. And welcome, everyone. So, where we left off, our party is travelling aboard the Seamstress, a starliner and interstellar buckyball pitch, where the expected entertainment provided by the sport, the leisure facilities, and the simple pleasures of life was interrupted by a murder, which, to everyone's surprise, wasn't committed by the party. Olivia Sharp is investigating on behalf of League Security and has interviewed 3 of the party so far. Soraya played dumb so effectively that some might believe she really did have no idea what was going on. Agnar was tricked a few times into changing his story a little bit and making himself look somewhat guilty of things he hadn't even done. However, after that, Kara laid the whole shebang out on the table, as is her pattern, finally deciding to trust Sharp at least as far as she could easily throw her. So Stefan and Sammy have also been asked to have a word with Sharp, but there are still a few things they're doing without letting her in on the plan. The perchloric acid damaged laptop has been carefully hidden in a very public place, and Agnar has gone looking for a fellow Varga, heard of only in passing, but who might resemble someone caught on the security video near the murder. the party has met another member of Shah's security team and might be able to take a more active role in the investigation, which is something that March Temple, aide to Paral Karar, their host and benefactor, has indicated she at least would welcome. Much more importantly, the match has begun, and Dillabrew have made a fairly brisk start, reaching 55 runs, but at the cost of 2 wickets, including their captain, after a mere 12 overs. And that is where we resume the story. So, as we left off, Soraya, as I recall, was actually watching the match and enthusiastically cheering the geeks.
Up the geeks.
Cara was in the middle of doing something with a laptop, but I can't remember what it was now.
Oh, no, she's just walked back from the.
Oh yes,
she's got the contact details of July Cathedral.
Yeah.
And then she's just wandering back, just her room, I think. I don't know what she was going to do, but yeah, her time in the sun is done, I believe, for a minute. After
Stefan, having dropped off the damaged laptop, was sort of loitering around the edges of the pitch, if I remember. And Agnar is on a mission.
Agnar is on a mission, yes. Yes. Luke, you're going to have to remind me. What do we know about this guy? It was a Soraya contact, wasn't it?
He's an Aslan. She found out about her from a lady called June Vicarage, who was at the bar. Soraya was just asking around, and she said there was indeed a Varga locally. She said that he lives just down the. His room is sort of in the same section, because they're split into those little threes, aren't they, Ben? And his room is down the same section. She's seen him coming and going, but she don't know anything about him. Just that he's a Varga. And all Vargas know each other, don't they? I guess it's a bit like Londoners. So.
Sorry, anyone from London. Well, I assume that Agnar was heading in the direction, if not, he will be now, of the room, of the 3 rooms.
Well, courtesy of conversation with Vicarage, where the room is.
Yeah.
And it is again one of those little 3-room suites, a little 3-room end of a corridor.
Yes.
And she identified, in fact, that the room was the one at the end, the furthest from the entrance passage, rather than the one on each side. So, so is there anything you want to do on the way there, or do you want to go straight there? And if so, are you just going to front up and knock on the door, kind of thing?
No, he will probably. Well, I guess it depends what he finds. But on the way to the start of the corridor, if the end is the 3 rooms, is there one of the restaurants or cafes or somewhere where he could sit at a table and have a view, like quite a prominent view, I suppose, of the entrance to the corridor, the start of the corridor?
Yes, there absolutely is. There are suitable places dotted all the way around the outside of the sort of sphere that surrounds the buckyball pitch. So though there isn't one directly opposite the entrance, there's one within 100 feet or so, and would certainly give you an obvious view, and one that would be essentially uninterrupted if you choose the right place to sit.
Perfect. He'll find a table. Again, I guess preferably the closest. He's not trying to, sneak his way through this. He just wants to sit in plain view, but also have a view of the entrance to the corridor. And I guess that's time for brunch. It's a solo brunch, which I don't think we've done before. We might have done.
Solo brunch. I love a solo brunch.
To be fair, I'm not even sure what time of day it is, but he's definitely already had one brunch today, I feel.
I have no idea what role you need to make to enjoy brunch. I have no clue. but
It's a very easy check. It's 4 at most,
it's
I
a
would
pretty
say.
easy check. Yes.
Yeah.
But your typical brunch is definitely non-catastrophic if ordered from a reasonable venue. Yes. Okay, so you settle down and you have some brunch. And are you, while eating your brunch, going to be carefully observing, without being too obvious about it, the entrance to that area?
Yeah. I mean, he'll pick a seat at the table, which hopefully is facing the entrance, and just keep an eye out for a Varga, I suppose. I know what they look like.
Okay.
Just have to look
He
in the
looks
mirror.
like one every
Yes.
day in the mirror.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Okay. Right. I need you to roll a streetwise check for me, please, or if you prefer, recon.
Didn't even warm them up.
Oh,
How
rookie
foolish.
mistake.
Right, we'll go with recon.
Mhm. You can have recon plus intellect bonus.
Oh, perfect. That's just recon then. That's a 7 plus a 1 from recon.
Okay, an 8.
Magic 8.
Right.
Hopefully.
Now the other thing I'd like you to do is roll an education check with a boon, please.
Ooh. Ooh.
Just education.
She's so smart.
Yeah, this is about prior knowledge from your past life.
That is indeed another 7, but plus 2 this time.
Okay.
For 9.
Right. You are finishing up the last dregs of your brunch when indeed a Varga emerges from that little suite. And let me set the scene. This Varga has extremely dark hair all over his body. He's almost black furred. He is male. He is very, very big for a Varga. Very tall, very muscular, enormously broad shoulders.
Oh, I feel like we need to level up with our Varga.
He's
Shade, Luke.
he is a big lad, and he's by no means a young Varga. He's probably about the same age as Agnar, who is himself no puppy. But more importantly, not only is this just generally a quite distinctive Varga in terms of his physique, his size, and what have you. This is a Varga you actually recognise. I mean, so well that you know his name. In fact, you not only know his name, you know the rank that he at least at one time held. You've never met him, but you know his presence and his reputation. The fact that Vicarage couldn't tell you who he was or didn't make any comment about him implies that she had never had any close association with the military, or particularly military recruitment, because this particular Varga is best known as Sergeant Telon Rack, who was used as a hollow recruitment poster for the Imperial Marines.
How are we spelling him?
Telon.
Yep.
Rack.
Oh, that's because he's got racks, isn't he? It's the guns. The guns are resting on the racks. For Telon, he is. He's stacked. Stacked rack. He's the recruitment poster guy. Well, I'm loving him already.
Telon Rack. I mean, I'm sure among those who'd worked with him, he was already something of a legend. But following a number of intense battles, a number of heroic actions, the awarding of a number of medals, and because of his size, his physique, the sheer gravitas he brings to an image, RAC became this recruitment post to Hollow for the Imperial Marines, particularly aiming to get more Varga, of course, but also anyone who saw that very impressive image and thought, this is the kind of outfit I want to belong to, you know. He's in military circles. Anyone who'd walked through a recruitment office or knew people who worked in recruitment offices for much of your military career, his image would have been literally projected on walls and available, all over the place. He is, though it takes you a second to pick him out because you're used to seeing the image of him in full uniform with his medals and everything, and now he's just relaxing in civilian clothing. Nonetheless, it is definitely Tilon Rack.
Oh, glorious. So let me just write this down. I was going through in my head this this ploy where I'd have to run after him and call out a name and pretend as though I thought was mistaking him for someone else. But now I don't even have to do that. Agnar will he'll rush the person to set up his tab, and he'll briskly walk. I suppose he won't jog. He's too old for that. He'll briskly walk after the figure.
He's only like 40. Steady
Yeah,
on.
he's nearly
He's
your age.
Yeah, exactly. You can't jog
He's
anymore.
42.
Okay, he's
42.
older than me. That's right.
It's weird that I think of him as such an old man when he's younger than I am. Yes, I know.
He plays it up a little bit, and he is pretty weak, to be fair. So, it's not helping him. His strength and his lack of hitting the gym is definitely not helping. But he'll briskly walk after, and he'll shout out, "Rack, Rack!"
Okay. He's, sort of in his own world, so it takes a couple of shouts before he realizes that someone's calling his name. But then he turns around and looks back with a gentle sort of smile on his face, wondering if he knows you. He's sort of trying to place who you are, and obviously nothing's really registering with him, but he's still smiling warmly enough.
Going back on what I just said, Agnar, once he turns around, will pick up the pace to a little jog and go up to meet him and say, it is you, isn't it, Sergeant Tilon Rack?
It is, sir. It is. I'm afraid I can't place you.
No. I don't believe we ever met. But of course, your presence is more than familiar to a Varga such as myself. I'm Agnar Arnson, former General Agnar Arnson from the 17th Wayfinders.
General, I recognise the name, of course. A pleasure to meet you.
And yourself. I too recognise your name, but you have the better of me, being in recruitment and somewhat of a poster boy, as I can tell from your fine physique still. What brings you here?
Well, it's one of those stories that when you start to tell it, you're going to say it's a long story. But the reality is, I retired. And now I'm bumbling around wondering what to do with my life.
Are you a fan of buckyball?
I am a little bit. It's not that big a deal for me, but I've accumulated a number of fans and friends throughout this part of the galaxy. It turns out I was offered it as a present, and I thought, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, well, why not if you enjoy the sport? Listen, do you fancy a drink? Do you want to catch up over some old military stories and?
Oh, that would be lovely, sir.
In fact, I could introduce you. Well, she's not that much of a star. She's no you, but my friend Soraya played in the fan game yesterday. I don't know whether you watched the fan game.
I saw parts of it. Yes. It was
I'm
good
sure.
fun.
Yeah, I'm sure she'd love to meet such an astute gentleman as yourself, if you'd be open to more company.
Love to.
Wonderful. And Agnar will say, "I know a place down this way," and he'll lead them off, I suppose, back slightly towards the rooms and the seats, and
Right.
shoot a quick message over to Soraya. Just saying, I found the Varga. He's old military and a bit of a bucketball fan. Do you meet us for a drink in? My apologies. If my cricket knowledge was better, I would know
Dukes.
the. Yeah, thanks, Luke. Meet us for a drink in the gig bar. Question mark. It's not an order.
She's right near it because she's had half an eye on the game and half an eye on that the man in the fish.
Yes.
We love the man in the fish. He's less buff, but he's got something about him, something nerdy about him. A bit of je ne sais quoi, nerd de sais quoi.
Je ne sais fish.
Je ne sais fish.
Je ne sais fish. Yes, quite right.
Agnar will lead him towards the geeker bar. On the way, he'll drop in. I know you're not a huge fan, but are you supporting any team in particular for this game?
Well, I know you're not really supposed to think this way, but I'm an old-fashioned clannish sort. My regiment above all others, my company above all companies, my battalion above all battalions. You know the rules. And so the fact that Geeka has a Varga opening the batting for them, I feel I have to support.
It does help matters, doesn't it? It certainly does. I feel exactly the same about my the crew I'm currently travelling with. He'll say before we get in earshot of anyone else.
Okay.
Oh, no.
And then make our way to the bar and try and find Soraya, I suppose.
Okay. Is Soraya meeting them there? I mean, Soraya's got a much shorter journey, of course.
She has. She's literally got to get out of us. Well, she could try something athletic, but I fail when I try athletic things. It's like spring over the bar. No, she'll do it the proper way. She'll get off her seat, and she'll head around properly and into the. And she's got her jacket on, and she's got her geeker cap and a geeker jacket and a geeker kit. She's a big geek today. She's loving it.
She's basically got a stuffed fish stuck through her head.
Yeah. Exactly.
So obviously, all is going well.
All is going beautifully, quite frankly. She's living the dream. Yes, she'll go there. She'll meet them there. She'll head straight to the bar. It's still morning, isn't it? So she'll just go for a brunchy kind of drink.
Okay. Scotch.
Oh,
light beer.
Like a breakfast beer. A
breakfast beer, not a breakfast whiskey. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. We'll play it light. Play it light. We're not past the yard arm yet.
Fair enough. Well, the Dukes is actually fairly busy, courtesy of the fact that play is underway. But equally, because play is underway, most of the people aren't lingering. So it only takes a few seconds for a table to open up and for Soraya to be able to pick a spot with enough seating for 2 guests. It's not that the place isn't packed, it is, but everyone's coming and going cheerfully, They're racing back to their seats with a drink or having grabbed a bite to eat or some brunch, obviously, to enjoy the next few overs of the game. From Dukes, of course, you can see the the pitch, but it's not quite as good or unobstructed a view as you'd get in your seat.
She's over to the bar and she'll say, three mimosas, please, Tim.
Tim, yeah,
Tim.
good call. Yeah.
You,
Okay.
How's Tim looking? Is he looking quite harassed and busy, or is he quite chill?
This version of Tim is well within his comfort zone. I think it's fair to say. It's relatively early in the session. People aren't bolshy and drunk yet. Everybody's still quite enthusiastic, and nobody has yet really reached the point where they're miserable because their team's losing, or for that matter, too excitable because they're winning. It's early in the match. I'm sure it'll become more hectic later.
Double timming.
Tim.
Tim. Tim. Oh.
Bon timage.
Oh, Tim. Timage. How are things going, Tim? You things started well this morning?
Can't complain.
Can't complain. I had a really good mimosa here the other night. You weren't working the night before the fan game, were you? Because that was top quality mimosering.
I had a shift then. I can't swear I made yours.
Oh, can you make, like I say, I want to see if it measures up, see if yours was the hallowed mimosa, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
I believe in you, Tim. I believe in you.
And as you watch, he sort of, does a little flourish with his fingers and walks over and presses the mimosa button. And out comes a mimosa. And he hands it to you. I'm sure I do it with panache. I'm sure that's what it is.
Have you got a little cocktail umbrella you could put in there, Tim? I'm feeling classy today.
And yet you want a cocktail umbrella. Of course you can have one. And he hauls one out and hands it to you.
Tim, we were getting on. You're getting a bit bolshy.
This Tim's got attitude.
He's got spunk. That's what we like. That's what we like about this Tim. Thanks, Tim. I appreciate it. And so I will pay up and slip him. We'll go 50 credits for Tim. 50 bonus credits.
Wow.
I'm feeling generous.
Yeah.
There we go. Well, I'll take that off. Plus some money for the drinks. There we go.
Tim's get the best tips.
Tim's always get the best tips. Buttons are hard work pressing.
Mariah feels bad.
We had a bit of verbal sparring. He sort of he wasn't too friendly enough, but a little bit mean at the same time. We like that.
Yeah,
so,
he held his own.
He did.
Partook.
So right, stands at the bar, takes a little sip, and says, "Nah, I think the Tim that made this had even more of a flourish. But this isn't bad though. This isn't bad. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate it." And she sort of tries to really awkwardly pick up the 3 flutes and sort of head over to as if she's just carrying 3 easier pints, and sort of heads over to find a standing table somewhere and clunks them down, attempting minimal spillage.
Okay. Yeah, excellent.
One sort of twists in her hand a little bit as she's doing it, so she's ending up like trying to twist it, put it down, but she gets there.
Super. Okay. It is just moments later, but our party of 2, 2 Varga wander in, looking resplendent in the case of Agnar in his match best, and in the case of the way the other chap looks, he's resplendent whatever he's wearing, pretty much. He's just a resplendent sort of Varga. Rack is just one of those people who is resplendent by nature. Oh. He resplends. That's what he does.
He just resplends. That's what he does. As he comes in Soraya's head, she hears. That's it. At the hunky man walking in, and Agnar next to him.
Mm.
Well, Agnar looking a little bit frailer than he normally looks. a little bit shorter than he normally looks. A little bit floofier than he normally
It's
looks.
the comparison that gets you.
Nah, he still looks resplendent. Agnar always carries himself well. I've always wished that he wore a sort of a kind of a cruising cravat though. I think that'd really pop with him. In fact, that's exactly what Sarah will say. She's a bit carried away. So rather than just welcoming the guy, she like goes over to Agnar and says, "You really look good in a cravat for the cruise, Agnar. I'm going to get you one today during a break and play. I think it really match your teeth."
He smiles.
That's the look. That's the look. Oh, I'm sorry, your friends. Are you going to introduce me?
Yes. Soraya. This is. We've not met before, but he is well known within both the Vargat and the military communities. This is Tilon Rack, sergeant, former sergeant, now retired. Tilon Rack. Tilon Rack. This is my friend, crewmate, Soraya.
Sarah holds out a hand as a handshake. He says, "A pleasure to meet you, Mr. Rack. I've seen your posters around, and it's a pleasure to see that man in the flesh."
And I've seen your late cut. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. I'm very. It's the thing I'm proudest of in my life, but don't hold that against me.
Well, sadly, the thing I'm proudest of in my life is not appearing on posters, but nonetheless, it paid the bills.
It does. If you ever want a sort of a more private poster of your own, we know an artist that could knock something up for you that you could have as a resplendent life-size poster of yourself if you ever wanted one. She's a top quality artist. If you're ever feeling a bit sort of self-vain and sort of you fancy that, then just let us know, and we can sort that out for you gratis.
It's very kind. I'll give it some thought. And he sort of pulls out the chair for Soraya if she's stood, and settles himself down, and sits there very self-contained, just waiting for things to develop as they do.
Can I get you a drink? Sorry, I just I feel as though.
So I looks at the 3 glasses, thinking, does Agnar just think I've just gone full-blown alcoholic right now? I know it's borderline.
A man such as this won't be drinking a mimosa with a cocktail umbrella in.
Only my one. She's like, Agnar,
my mistake.
Agnar, like, and she sort of laughs a little bit. Says, "You don't have to drink these if you don't want them, but they're available if you'd like a mimosa. It is brunch after all."
He reaches out with his, fairly enormous fist, wraps it all the way around the glass, and raises it and says, "Thank you," and has a swig. And he says, "Yes, not bad, thank you."
So I sort of takes a slurp back, and are they doing table service at the bar?
It's either way. The table service is slower, but they are wandering around looking to take orders. Yes.
Sort of as seeing it sort of waves the guy past us. Can we get another few mimosas and maybe a bottle of decent whiskey, if that's okay? Brought to the table with a couple of glasses.
Excellent stuff. There is a smile beginning to develop on Rack's face. He's thinking, this could be a good session.
And okay, so I sort of nods over to Duke Ducky Dicker Duxon III. Is he still in the mascot suit at this point?
Goodness.
he
No,
have it?
he's out of the suit. He's relaxing with a soft drink.
Does he have something obvious like tights on or something? You know, like they have little big feet and tights and things. Or
He's actually wearing it's like a full body leotard, like a cat suit, with a pair of shorts pulled over it. And the reason for this is that the cat suit has mounted in various locations on it very small air jet propulsion systems to allow him to do the 0G gymnastics and flying around and looking like a fish. Because otherwise, if he was just a person in a suit, he'd just travel in one straight line in whatever direction he set off and have no opportunity to really do anything except waggle his fingers.
she sort of nods at the Duke Docker Dixon III in his fishy onesie. And
people you see are not fully aerobatic.
No, sadly, nor us with our dexterousness. Only Stefan would have a chance. And she's sort of smiling, trying to be sort of friendly and a little bit kooky at the same time, I guess. Says, I've been watching Buckyball all morning, and yet the thing I most want to do right now is be the fish. Have you ever wished that you could just like do something just like totally against you? You're a famous guy. Your face must be known around. Do you ever wish that you could just be or do something very different?
Actually, my next stop is going to be a bit of that. One of the reasons I'm on this particular cruise, I've been thinking about spending a bit of time on my own. So when I get to Dillabrew, I've got a little remote place that I've rented. Can spend a week, a month, however long I fancy, out there just unwinding and taking in the scenery and enjoying the sunrise and the sunset.
Oh, that sounds beautiful.
Oh yeah, sorry, I got lost in that for a minute.
So, are you just going one way on the cruise, or is it that end of the cruise?
That's where I get off. I mean, I doubt they'll decommission the ship when I leave it. The Marines never did.
Ah, but they should have done. Magna raises a glass.
Cheers.
Have you come on the ship? Have you taken this cruise alone, or have you come with people that know?
No, I'm on my own on the ship. It turns out I'm sufficiently well known that you're not on your own for very long. If you wander about, there's always someone who knows you. It's always slightly embarrassing because most of the time, of course, I don't know them, and quite often I don't really have anything in common with them either.
Agnar buries his head a little bit in the realization of what's just happened. My apologies if I intruded upon your alone
You're
time.
fine, sir. We actually have quite a lot in common.
Well, perhaps more so than most people on this ship.
Now it's Sarai's turn to look a bit awkward, like, ooh. I thought we were bonding over the fish costume and things. She says, is there? Have you run into anyone that you do know on the ship, or has it literally been a ship of strangers and you wandering through them like a ship through the ocean?
I had a visit from an old friend while I was checking in. Actually, she clocked my name on the passenger log, I think, someone I knew back in the day from the Green Slime, and yeah, she came over to say hi, and we bumped a fist and shared a drink. But other than that, no.
Bear with me a second while I flick through my notes. Of course, she's doing it much quicker in her head because although she appears stupid, that's all. She's the Columbo of the situation.
She really is. If anyone is, it's Soraya.
I'm pretty sure it's Colagnar, in fact.
Calagno.
Well, he's got the Columbo stupidity impression down, but I don't know whether he's got the intellect to back it up.
More importantly, he's got the coat.
He has got the coat. Yeah, that is true. That is
the coat is the thing with the powers.
And the one more thing.
And the one more thing.
So I'll say, you know, saying that now, I do think I saw you when we were all sort of getting on board the ship. We've been sort of, we've got quite a wealthy Aslan who is sort of funding us. We've got some scientific interests amongst the crew, and I do remember you. Yes, I think I only saw you from sort of the back, but there's no, like, you're the biggest, strongest, like, toughest looking Varga I've ever seen. I wouldn't. You had this like fantastic belt on at the time. Like, is that something that someone like me could get hold of, or is that or is that like a family heirloom? Because I remember thinking I'd love something like that.
A deception check for me with intellect, please.
Oh, look. Am I ruining your happy drinks? Sorry.
No, it's brilliant. Make it good. Make it a good roll.
Deception with intellect. Okay. Okay, well, that's only a -1 for deception, so that's because she's jack of all trades, and a +1 for intellect. So here we go. Okay, it depends how he's doing, because my sweaty hands rolled up a flat 8.
Ooh.
Okay. He looks, as far as you can tell, completely baffled, and he says, belt. I think I was wearing a belt. Nothing special, though. I've got a belt that goes with the regimental dress uniform, but, I wasn't wearing that. No, sorry. No idea what you're talking about.
So
maybe. No, go on.
No, carry on. Sorry, I just sort of personally look sort of a bit confused, but sort of blows it off a little bit. That's not a big thing. Like, no, I guess it was busy. I must be mixing things up. I know there's a few Varga on the ship, and I know some do have rather lovely belts. It's something I've always noticed. Maybe it's wishful thinking.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've seen one of those.
Oh. Is there someone? There was someone on board with one, right? Wandering around with it.
Yeah. The type. Life debt to some kind of Varga lord.
Oh, is that what that is? Although then I really don't want one then.
Yeah, trust me, Soraya, you wouldn't want one of those. Where did you see such a man?
Trying to remember. Sorry, can't place it. Around.
That's okay. There's there's a lot of people to try and pick out the individual belt, and he kind of looks a bit bemused at Soraya. Amongst all these passengers.
There are a fair few here. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've been packed into much smaller accommodation for much longer periods of time, but it still brings back memories of, too many people in one shower unit.
That it does.
Sir Isaac smiles coquettishly. How many people in a shower unit is too many?
2.
Two. She sort of laughs. See you later, Samuel. Thank you for joining us. A pleasure. Thank you. It was lovely to see you popping in. Do appreciate that.
See you later.
Yeah, she sort of laughs. Says, yes. Especially with the limited water that you get when you're out on manoeuvres.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a problem. Here, at least, they don't have that problem. They've got so much you can ski down the bastard.
Oh. Have you gone skiing yet since you've been here?
Yeah, briefly, but I'm planning to do a lot more of it. I miss that kind of activity, and depending on which world you happen to be on, you get like a limited subset of things usually, and it's been a while. I enjoy a bit of altitude. I enjoy a bit of kinetic energy, and I'm a great believer in potential energy.
I'm a big believer in potential. If you do go, be careful of some nutter with short dark hair who might be sliding around on his backside for some reason. One of our parties seems to have taken a love for the snow.
Yeah. So there's more of you then.
Oh, we never stop. We're like a plague once we get going.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So you're not military yourself, I take it?
I'm not. My father was military. He was I believe he was a gunnery sergeant in the Marines. So for 20 years before being killed in duty when I was a child.
Wow.
But I myself, I just didn't have the I didn't have the right makeup for it, I guess. I went to military academy, but it just didn't jive with me, so I became a scout and travelled around the Far Reach. So I also know what it's like with 3 seconds of water to bathe in every couple of days.
Yeah. Yeah, that is one of the treats. Actually, I didn't think I had the right makeup either, but it turns out when you join up, they give it to you. It's usually green and brown.
Depends on the world, though.
It does depend on the world.
Sometimes it's white and grey.
What I mean, we obviously all know your where your military career ended up, but what was your speciality in the Marines?
The thing that I did most of my time, I was the door operator on dropships. So the first guy out, last guy back on dropship missions. And you tend to take a lot of flying crap that way.
Were they large missions? We're not talking, 3 guys in, remove a target, 3 guys out, or was it quite varied?
Varied, yeah, definitely. I mean, there were times where my crew would be dropping in 3 or 4 people for a special op, and there were times when we'd be one of 30 or 40 ships dropping down, to take one side of a whole planet. You never know. Biggest stop I think I was on involved 2 entire Imperial fleets, and I think there must have been well over 1,000 dropships doing lap after lap. Yeah, it was. It's very variable, frankly.
So I
some good stories.
So I could grab the whiskey, which I'm guessing is sort of there by now. Get putting a glass in front of each of the Varga and filling them up quite full. I guess a bit of social lubrication.
Is it a good whiskey, Ben? by Agnar standards?
It is a mediocre whiskey by Agnar's very high standards. But it seems to put a big smile on the face of your guest. Either his taste is a little bit less extravagant, or he just enjoys a drink with some company.
Yeah.
I'm knocking 35 credits off, if that's okay. Does that sound about right?
That is about right.
Agnar will raise a glass and he'll thank you, Sora, and thank you for your company. To opening doors for others, and he'll raise his glass.
He sort of clinks against it, and then he says, "To Varga in uniform, when there are really hairy missions, you need really hairy soldiers."
That's much better than what I said. To Varga in uniforms. Whiskey.
And we all know that Varga units have many hairy members.
Well, that as well. So sorry. The sort of the atmosphere is convivial. The environment is relaxed. Every now and then, someone lets out a sort of, or the crowd lets out a little bit of yell because someone's hit a boundary or something's come close to being a wicket. But it's all fairly relaxed, and this chap seems pretty content to now spend as long as you're willing to tolerate him sitting at this table drinking your whiskey.
Oh, good. Then while he's doing that, during one of the many things, Sarai will go and break the seal, and she'll excuse herself as she gets up and make sure their glasses are full so they don't go anywhere. And then as she heads off to the toilet, she's going to message Kara and ask her, can you ping me over footage of the Varga going into and out into the room that you've got, if that's okay?
Yeah, it is. You won't need a roll for achieving that. That's absolute child's play for Kara. I will ask you to roll a d6, however.
Ooh, 2.
2. This is a good 2.
That is a good 2.
The clipped out footage will effectively be arriving as you're returning to the table, shall we say?
Nice.
Yeah. Good broadband speeds.
Indeed. Yeah. It was merely to determine whether or not there'd be a delay or anything like that. It was. There's no way Kara, who hacks into systems and breaks through firewalls for fun, is going to be stymied by clipping something out of a video.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. As she settles back down in her seat, I guess Kitty said, "Well, no, we were standing, weren't we? I think." But anyway, as she sort of takes half a step back without being noticeable, but so she can watch something, you know what I mean? And then she'll sort of wander off a little bit to take a couple of photos and this and that, and sort of does a couple of selfies in front of the screen. Asks, "I'd like to see if no, we'll hold this because this could be a whole different world. I'm going to ask the mascot for a selfie, but this could be a whole episode in itself, so we'll leave that to the side." But while she's away from the table a bit, she's going to turn the sound down, of course, if there is any sound. Probably not.
Yep, there isn't any sound on the screen.
Check the footage. Is this a Varga our Varga?
Okay.
Oh, Sparrow, I knew you'd fall into the filth pit.
I want you to this is basic analysis, really. I want you to roll a straight intellect check, please.
Okay, thank you. I will. Oh, that's okay. I can do Okay, well, it's a +1, which is probably good because it was a 7. 5 and 2, 7.
Okay. You've decided to be quite diligent about this and really make sure as best you can, really rule in or rule out this person. So you watch it a couple of times. You've now seen the person in 3D. You've actually had a conversation. You're not drunk or anything like that. The simple truth is, if the Varga in the video is the Varga at the table, some significant digital manipulation has been going on. Not only is the fur a different color or tint, it's also a different tone. It's a different thickness. It's the Varga in the image is slimmer, shorter, and probably younger.
Floofier hair or less, or
Don't put yourself into
less
the frame.
floofier hair.
Yeah, that's what makes it a little bit trickier, because the image from the video implies a slimmer Varga, but one with thicker hair. Yeah.
Oh. Nice thick hair.
Well.
Oh. Can I put up a picture while I'm here? I had a sudden thing from what he said, which Soraya was there for, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Can I pull up pictures of the opening bat for Geeka, please?
Yes, you absolutely can. In fact, if you'd like to see the person in question, Geeka is currently in the field. You can actually look up and see the person.
Oh, I'm going to look up and see the person, please.
Okay. If you look up and see the person, you'll be familiar with this name and probably even the face, because you've been paying a fair amount of attention to the teams. It's Solly Pagar.
Oh, how are we spelling that?
Solly.
Yep.
Pagar.
Yep.
An opening bat and someone who fields long on the inner boundary.
Got a strong position. I like the sound of Solly
Plus
Pagar.
Team Assassin.
Plus a murderer.
Now, Solly Pagar is extremely lithe, very slim, and distinctively female.
Very lithe, slim female. Okay. So unless a large amount of digital manipulation has gone into the footage, it's not Solly Pagar.
Yeah. Well, again, it's always possible. You never know what's been done digitally, but yeah, it would be unlikely for it to be Solly Pagar.
Of course, I forgot. Of course, Solly's a woman. I should have remembered that. I got carried away in myself. She thinks
Sarah
herself.
wants to know the floof levels on Solly Pagar.
Sparrow's taken a liking to Solly Pagar. I think it was the word lithe.
Pagar is not only a young Varga, but quite a well-known one. She's famous in sporting circles. She, accordingly, unlike most Varga who prefer a fairly natural look, Pagar is a bit more, in fact, if you'll forgive the pun, a bit more cutting edge, in that she deliberately has designs cut into her fur.
Oh, I want that.
Wait, where was? We need to get that machine. You can get it from next time we're buying an electronics shop. They sell your fur cutter, your hair cutter.
Yeah,
that's true.
So in essence, she has long hair or long fur where it's left long, and really quite short fur where it's cut short, and various designs, including various emblems of fish, of course, are actually cut emblematically into her body.
Oh, Solly Pagar. We're liking Solly Pagar. Okay. Soraya looks away again. She sort of says to herself, well, that's if I have to go through every Varga on this ship, I guess I'll go through every Varga on the ship. She messages Kara back before she heads back over to the table, saying, Thanks. Just trying to. We're meeting with a Varga now, just trying to see if it was him. It's not, and it's not the Geeker player. I don't know how many more Varga are on this ship, but we seem to have got through a few already. ... And sends it out, sends it off, and then pockets her phone and heads back over to the table with a big smile on her face, and clinks the her glass into their two whiskies, and she calls over and says, "I'll have a mojito this time, please," and settles in for a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Rack is relaxed. He's enjoying himself, and he's going to be quite happy to chat about anything you want to chat about now. I think he's enjoying being entertained and having, some drinks bought for him. Soraya's father was someone that he could have nothing but respect for. A gunny in the Marines, essentially the same rank as he ended with, and a similar role actually. While the sitting and drinking with a general is something that he wouldn't have had many opportunities to do during his service time, and it's now, I'm sure, quite pleasing to him.
Agnar would be very happy to to ask him about, his old war stories, especially the ones that made the press and made him into such a poster boy, I guess, and quite happy to sit back and listen to those without asking you to go into depth on them, because that seems unfair.
And I did all that prep work. No, that's great. Thank you. Yeah, you sit and happily chat. Okay. Can I have a carouse check from each of you, please? With social.
Oh no, not going to be me winning this. Soraya's got her own social. She's not what everyone else would be social.
I rolled a
okay,
6, and that's a -1 overall, so that's a 5 for me.
I've hit a 9. -1 for my social is an 8.
Ooh.
All right. Okay. Okay. It's towards the point where even Rack is starting to think that he's beginning to outstay his welcome, and he's wondering if you'll object if he takes the remainder of the whiskey away from the table with him and take it home. He's sort of starting to think in those terms, and he's reached the point where he's going to try to be actually helpful if he can. And in lulls in the conversation, he's been sort of racking his brain. And then he finally says, I think I do remember where I saw the guy with the belt. I'm not certain, but I think it was on the seam on the other side. I'm pretty sure. Maybe not quite opposite this end, but not far off.
On the seam, did you say? On the other side?
Yeah.
Almost opposite.
It was skinny. The belt, red and green. I think it was red and green. Don't know if that's your guy, but that's all I can remember. Sorry.
No, thank you. That's absolutely fantastic. Um, Sarai grabs the bottle of whiskey as Agnar's caught wind of what's doing and sort of grabbed it to pour himself one last drink. Grabs it out of his hand and hands it straight. Say, look, thank you. You're looking.
Of course.
We don't want to take up too much of your day, and it's been an absolute pleasure. Speaking for myself, of course. I don't know about my friend Agnar here.
It's been the most joy I've had in a long time, certainly with a fellow Varga, and a fellow serving Varga as well. If you want for anything else on our voyage, or even just a chat, I have the odd war story I could tell you from behind a desk. but please just ask.
Yeah, that would be good. Thank you. And if if I can be of any help, I'll try and let you know if I remember anything. But if I can be of any help, don't hesitate to call. Sometimes I miss the decisions I make mattering, if you know what I mean.
I think we've all been there, right, Sarah?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes it's nice not to not have a care in the world, but it is nice to have a greater purpose at times. Speaking of which, Sarai makes her leave and heads over to the Fishman.
Okay. Before he goes, Agnar will just say to your good health and have a drink and what contact information? If he'll,
Yeah,
he said just call. So
he'll happily give up. He'll happily give up
information.
his contact details. No problem at all.
And see him off.
Brilliant. Okay. So Soraya wants to bother the Fishman.
Yeah, just briefly.
Okay.
Hey.
Hi.
Can I have a photo with you, please?
Sure. Seems quite genuinely surprised that someone would want one.
Well, don't sound so surprised. You're Duke Ducky Dicker Doxon III. The way you commanded your air jets around there was top notch. Thank you. You did us proud.
Well, thanks.
I'm not gonna make you wear the whole outfit for the photo, but please at least wear this. She takes the cap off and puts it on his head, and sort of poses for a couple of little selfies and things like that. A sec. How long does it take to get used to all your zero-G pressure sprays and things?
It's not easy when you first start. I mean, even if you came from a background of athletics and gymnastics, which I did, it still takes, there's a lot of them, and learning which one to use when to achieve something. It's not natural. It's something you got to think 3 moves ahead and plan it out in your mind. It takes a while. But it's a job.
You make it look so natural. Are all your mascot requirements out there in zero-G, or will you be wandering around the hallways or whatever later?
They do have people who dress up in suits for whatever. I mean, this week I'm a fish. Next week I'll be something else. I work for Dukes, you understand, and Dukes is a home team or away team venue, no matter which teams are on board. But They normally have more than one kind of costume. Mine has to be a bit of a special one to allow little holes for the air vents. But they do others that are simpler and a bit cheaper, I think. And they'll have people wandering around tonight as the match winds down, handing out drinks and posing with the tourists.
Could you?
But I generally don't do that because I reserve my sessions for the intervals and the openings.
Well, you're the man with the skills. See, I would love to be a fish. The geek. Don't get me wrong. I just, as such a big fan of the team, but I know for you it is a job and you do it very well. But there's sort of a pleasure in it for me as a Geeks fan. But I know that I don't have the skill to do what you do. What I'd love is just a couple of hours as the Geeks fish. Maybe being one of those that hands out drinks in here just for that experience. I can do that. Do you know the people, any of the people who wear the costumes? And do you think there's any way that sort of with a bit of money going to you and to them, maybe you sort of as the middleman, I might be able to swing that for a couple of hours?
Well, I don't work for the same people as they do because I work for Dukes. They're hired by the league. So if you wanted to have a go like that, I think you'd have to get in touch with league bosses, and there are some on board the ship. You understand, the league officials.
Hmm.
I don't know how happy they'd be with your request, but you can ask.
That you've said more to me there than I think you have. Thank you so much. I do really appreciate it. Can I get you a drink at all? Are you allowed to drink?
I'm allowed to, but I'm resting. They're about to come off for the sort of lunchtime break, and when that happens, I've got to be back out.
Okay, well, she holds her hands out for a handshake. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure, and keep up the good work. I'll be whooping and cheering you on during every break.
Thank you very much.
As she goes, Sarai would like to ping Olivia Sharp, please.
Okay.
Have I got through?
Yep, immediately.
Hello, Olivia Sharp. This is Sarai. You chatted to me earlier.
I remember.
Things you were saying percolated in my brain, and I've just met with this guy who dresses up as a zero-G fish. No, I've not been drinking that. I've not been drinking so heavily this morning. It's just been brunch drinks, but you know what I'm talking about, the mascots.
Yeah, I know the type.
He said that the mascots that sort of wander around for the evening giving out drinks and that are linked to the league itself.
Yeah, league officials pay them.
Now, I know I could not help at all earlier, but I was wondering if it would be any use if you could. It would sort of fulfill a dream of mine, a new dream that I never knew I had until yesterday, and also perhaps be helpful. I'd love to be a geek of fish, but I was wondering whether there might be a chance of overhearing any conversation that might be useful to the case. You know, people loosen up around stupid, big, dressed up people, ordering a drink, having some
All right.
photos. So if I could do
I
like a
follow
shifting
what you're
dukes.
saying. Roll a persuade with intellect for me, please.
Okay. Oh, this is good. This is the best one so far. Oh, and it is a good one. +2, 10, +2, 12.
12.
Yeah, she's very persuasive.
You can hear Sharp thinking about it. And after a moment, she says, "You know what? I think that's not a bad idea."
Nice.
And that's where we'll take our break.
That seems sensible.
I'm like walking around in a fish suit.
I love it. It's like those undercover scenes in comedy movies where they are not undercover whatsoever.
Bumping into things. Whoa.
Yeah.
Knocking trays of drinks over.
It's rapidly becoming Scooby-Doo, though. At the end of this, there's going to be a point where you're going to say, and I would have gotten away with it. If it hadn't been.
Yeah.
I hope there's
Well,
an
having
unmasked
chased
fish
someone-
costume off you.
Well, yeah, we'll have to chase someone in a fish costume and.
It's a Varga in a fish costume.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I
Let's
love
take a
it.
break. Let's take a break then. We'll do a 5-minute loo break. Everyone, hang around. We'll be back. I'll put some music on for you. How about that? That's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
let's do
Thank
that.
you.
Cool. Cheers. Get that. Here it is. There's some music. I need to set up the shop first as well. Let's get rid of that. Let's get the toilet break on. I think there it is. Here's the break. And then we can turn our sound off. And we'll see you guys in a Good evening and welcome back to tonight's episode of Boys from the Baltic Star. And you've joined us, if you have just joined us, if you've been here for a while, thank you, please stay. If you have just joined us during the break, you've joined us for the most important part of the evening, which is where I and my floating head lead us through a toast. And it's a very emotional toast this evening. At this time of the night, we always toast a very important fallen former comrade and NPC who we loved and lost. For those of you that might have noticed, last week we missed an episode, and we're good at not missing episodes, actually. We're very good at sticking to things. But sadly, we had to miss an episode last week because I'd caught the COVID and I couldn't... and I was in no fit state to support these two guys. I'd have just let the whole team down. And it was gutting to not have a show. And I definitely missed it. And I'm sure you two definitely missed it too. And we've been talking about having, every now and again, we have a in-game, we'll have sort of a gambling game in-game, which can move around the person giving the toast. And I think we were planning it. So I almost missed out on, I might lose the gambling whenever it happens. Who knows? I might be stuck with it for months more. But I didn't want to miss out one more opportunity after recovering my fitness, because I know sort of COVID's affected a lot of people over the last year and a half, and a lot of people a lot worse than I. And so I guess I wanted to come back and give one more toast to a man who we've spent money on and time and effort on adorning things for our channel. A lot of you never even met him. He was dead before we even started streaming. And yet his face is upon everything. I've even got stickers now where he is on, because he left that much of an impression on us. He was taken to a planet as a human meat shield when he really shouldn't have done. He was best served mixing mojitos and mixing sangria on board the ship. And that's where he should have stayed. And that's where I think we'll all remember him. The finest barman you could ever wish for. The strongest forearms in the game. I'd like us all to raise a glass or a can to toast the late, great Greyhill Bast.
Greyhill Bast.
I mean, that is a fair point, though, Ben, and I think a credit to your NPC right there, that he has lasted so long throughout this whole entire thing and is very much the focal point of a lot of our shenanigans, shall I say?
Yeah.
Anyway,
and considering you met him when he was trying to spy on you.
Exactly. We couldn't stay mad for long.
Nah.
Not
once he plied you with alcohol.
Well, yeah, and the
that
alcohol.
works for anyone. That works in real life. Play with alcohol, can't stay mad with you for long.
Alcohol.
Alcohol and forearms, the secret to successful seduction. Yes.
Putty in his hands, putty in those arms.
I mean, who wouldn't be putty in those arms? Have you seen those arms?
They are arms, aren't they?
Turn solid lead bricks into putty if he wanted.
But sadly, we turned him into putty in the end.
Yeah, well, I mean, not intentionally, but you did actually end up killing him during an attempt to save his life. So
yeah, that is true, and it always sits heavily on Sarai's heart.
Indeed. Right. So, with Soraya having got permission, at least in principle, to dress as a fish, something which I'm sure will turn out to be brilliant and highly successful as a strategy.
Up the fish.
What do other people want to do? I can tell you that right now, in game terms, Sammy is visiting Olivia Shaw.
She can look after herself. She's a hardy soul. We haven't
Also, to be fair, she's actually done nothing wrong.
exactly. She was there for the great laptop EMPing of whatever year it is.
Yeah, I almost said none of us have then, but then I realised, well, we didn't murder anybody, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we haven't done anything wrong. It's not a binary system.
It turns out there are some crimes that are not murder.
Yes.
They're just little crimes, though. I think they could be looked over for the greater good.
Certainly lesser crimes.
They're just civil crimes. I know this.
Yeah.
I'm doing my 2 weeks on the jury soon. I know all about crimes. Less than murder, I'll let you off. That's the way I'm going into it.
Yeah.
The Baltic Star approach.
Yes, I quite enjoyed jury service. Anyway, getting back to the game. So, what do you want to do next? What's your next plan?
Plan?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to overpitch.
You think so highly of us.
Ben. I suppose Agnar will talk to Soraya and he'll say, I mean, it's a long shot. There's a lot of people on this ship, but does it feel like it might be worthwhile hanging out on the other side of the seam, as it were? I know you're geeker through and through, but
yeah, it's very painful to me. I wouldn't have to go undercover, surely.
Some things beyond.
Something, Ben, that Agnar would of course know, and Sarai would know, of course. Are there names that are more? If you looked at a list of names, you could say they're probably a Varga, they're probably an Aslan, they're probably human. I know there's always a crossover, right, in life, but are there some that obviously stand out?
Yes. When it comes to Varga, there's certainly much greater likelihood you'd be able to spot a Varga by name. However, you might encounter, you might miss some, because it's not particularly uncommon for Varga to use names associated with the subsector or the world that they grow up on. And when that happens, you wouldn't necessarily be able to distinguish them by name from the human, or for that matter, Aslan, who lived next door.
Got you. What I will do, Sarah, will say I'm not against it, as long as I can hear the cheers and Kit's up to date with what's going on. I don't mind giving up a session for the greater good. So I was just wondering, and she sort of calls up Kara. Says, Kara, we were told that the man who we're after could potentially be in a room across from here. Is there any chance you could? Because Kara's been through the list of people before. Like, there's only so much you can tell from a list of names and rooms, right? It's a limited thing to do. But she's like, can you go back on there and just sort of pull up the rooms from this kind of area and see if there's any obvious Varga names? It's a start. It's a starting point. You know, I'm not expecting like a pinpoint kind of, here's a camera picture of this person immediately. But just, just some leads would be lovely. Is that something Kara can do? I can't remember where we where we placed it last time.
Yes. It is something Kara can do. It would require a new search, so she'd have to either do it manually or set her agent going.
Okay, Kara's not doing anything in the minute. She's happy to do it manually. She's in the suite. She's got
Okay.
she's got a lot of nuts and cheesy snacks.
She has
she's good for
almost
nuts.
all of the nuts. Yes.
She's good for nuts. She's got some drink left. She's happy to sit there cross-legged on the bed and tap away a bit for as long as it needs.
Okay. All right. Can you roll a quick electronics computing check for me, please?
Of course. What pluses am I getting with it?
You're going to be doing it manually, so you can use your own skills plus the computer skills, which I think adds up to +3, if I remember.
I've got, yes, so +1 for the computers, and I get to choose one of intellect or education, isn't it? So it's +3, yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
It is a 7 +3 is 10.
A 10. Okay. You can be pretty confident it will return usable results, at least in principle. Can you roll 1d6 for me, please?
Of course. Oh no! It's a 5. It was all going so well.
A 5. Okay. Those results will essentially be available towards the end of the day.
Okay. And the first ship. I'm guessing Kara will get a vibe of that from the size of the task and that. So she say, "Look, I'll start in now. It's going to take a few hours, though. It's not even lunch, is it? So it's like, well, they're just about to come off lunch, aren't they? So like, it's going to take it's going to take like until past the end of play. So don't rely on a quick answer, guys. But I'll get them to you when I can.
Okay. All good. So that's Kara sorted. We know Soraya is going to be stalking Olivia Sharp until such time as she coughs up a fish costume. But in the meantime, she and Agnar are both going to have an explore and look for random wandering Varga.
Why not? Sorry, I said I'm going to go get changed though. I don't want to start grief, and I will start grief because I'm a little bit buzzed, and I'll just start chanting, and that's not going to be good to anyone.
Yeah. Can while you're getting changed, can you send me like a still image of that video of the guy?
Yeah, I'll do my best. So Sarah will head back over to the suite. She'll change out of her Geek's blazer, Geek's cap, Geek's jersey, and she'll just put on her usual sort of a jumpsuit with the sleeves done up around the waist, just a vest top kind of thing. You know, the old. Well, I think we've called it the Ellen Ripley look on at least one occasion.
Yes. Yeah.
She'll
it is kind of the Ripley look. Yeah.
Yeah, she'll go for the Ellen Ripley look.
Nice.
Cool.
Hair back up in a pony instead of down, and just look like she's just chilling out, really. And then she'll sort of cut the image, send it over to Agnar, and head back over.
Brilliant. All right. And are you wandering off in that direction and keeping your eyes open, basically?
I pass it over to you, Agnar. You're the military man with knowledge. I'm at your disposal.
Yeah. Pretty much. Kara, I'm assuming we're walking down some slightly wide corridors. You know,
It's the open concourse area. Yeah, it's essentially almost entirely open plan. It's just constantly interrupted by restaurants, bars, shops, lounges, and other things, you know.
You take that side, I'll take this side.
What, of the concourse? What, do you not want to be seen walking with me? What's wrong?
No. I mean, we can walk together, but you know, you look that way, I'll look this way.
Oh, well, do you not want to look at me? I'm feeling quite.
You're timming me, aren't you?
You're taking a small timming at this point. Yes, that's
You're-
definitely true.
You are making me a Tim, and I don't appreciate it. If you want to look across the whole concourse, that's fine. I'll do the same, and we'll just hope that we don't miss someone.
No, so it's all right. I am indeed timming you. Let's just keep an eye out. Yeah, I'll keep my eyes to this side of the concourse.
All right. Now I need both of you to roll a streetwise or recon check. In either case with intellect.
Intellect plus what? Sorry, recon or streetwise?
Yeah, recon or streetwise, your choice in this context.
Streetwise.
Make it so.
With intellect, did you say? Okay, that's good. That's good.
I don't suppose Agnar can make it social, seeing as he socialises with Varga.
No, that's not really what they mean by social.
Yeah, I get it.
Well, luckily I'm bossing it at the minute. So Raya's rolling the best she's ever done. She's making up for Kara, thank goodness. 12.
It's pretty good.
That's right.
I rolled a 9 plus 1 as a 10.
Good.
So 12.
So you rolled a 12 and a 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had this whole sort of process worked out, but on that basis,
a shadowy figure, something not looking quite right in the shadows.
can you roll 1d6 for me each, please?
Oh.
4.
4.
Double 4s. Yes. Ching.
Okay. It is about the time that the play is breaking for lunch. Large numbers of people suddenly who had been sitting in their seats or whatever suddenly start shifting through the concourse. They're even before technically stumps are drawn for lunch. People start to think, oh, I'll get in the queue first or whatever. They start to make their move.
Classic.
And so the concourse starts to get really busy. And during this period, you do, first one of you and then the other, spot a fairly slim, not particularly impressive looking Varga who does look somewhat like the image in the video. If you remember, the video image was not exactly flawless, so it's not going to be 100% confirmation, but yeah, looked kind of similar.
I'm going to call it potential Varga.
It's possible.
Sarai nudges at Agnar and says, "You seen him?"
Yeah.
Is that your brother?
I mean, looks down at his muscles. It's probably the same build as me, give or take. That doesn't make him my brother, though.
Oh, okay.
It's quite he does look quite familiar. How do you want to play it?
Play it cool.
Do you want to follow for a little bit? See where he goes. Do you want to? I mean, I know what you're like. Do you want to just go straight up there and ask him if he's got a fish costume? Or...
It's my dream to see such fuzzy legs in a fish costume. But I'm happy to hang back and just sort of see what's going on. See if he wanders anywhere specific. See if he meets with anyone, talks with anyone, drinks anything, eats anything specific. Looks to be mourning for the loss of a belt buckle.
Yeah, I mean the meetings and the belt buckle of particular relevance, I suppose.
All right. So, okay. If you want to follow him, I'm going to need you both to roll a stealth check with Dex, please.
It's really the wrong party to be doing this.
No.
Here we are nonetheless.
I'm hitting big zeros.
Let's make
Big
it happen.
zeros, baby.
Dexterity and stealth. That's not too bad. A 6 plus 3 is a 9.
Okay.
Whereas I'm a bit clunkier. 6 plus 0 is 6.
Okay. You can't be certain that he hasn't spotted you, but he doesn't seem to give any indication of it. Mechanically speaking, this was a contested roll, you understand, against his streetwise. And it doesn't, he doesn't give anything away. If he spotted you, he's not indicated it. He walks along the concourse for a while, takes a turn, wanders up to a sort of cafe type place, peruses its menu for a moment, then walks sort of the long way round around the back of it, and then cuts away down another route. He seems to just be randomly wandering without any particular destination. I need you both to roll for me a streetwise. No, sorry, a stealth check again with Dex once again.
Okay.
Anytime it's not roll for thingy, I'm okay.
That's an 8 plus 3.
Streetwise plus what?
Plus Dex.
Streetwise and Dex. Okay. Oh no. 6 plus 1 is 7.
Okay.
Oh,
all right. He emerges a little while later from a sort of couple of rows down, moving fairly briskly and now with greater sense of purpose. You can't be certain, but you think he may have deliberately tried to throw a tail, even if he didn't know who was following him. It now feels like he may have tried that, and whatever he was trying, it hasn't worked. You're still on his tail, and you know he's a Varga. He has a tail.
We're literally on his tail. Excellent.
But the other thing is he's now seemingly moving in a fairly consistent direction rather than meandering, and his direction seems to be taking him towards the murder scene.
Murder. Which actually doesn't mean too much to Soraya.
No.
She's not been there. She's not been.
Agnar's been there a lot.
Yes, Agnar knows, but to Soraya, she won't have spotted that. She won't have realised what's going on. That's not on her to realise.
If Agnar realizes this, he'll tell Soraya this is the way to the crime scene.
Okay.
It's the general direction of, I suppose, is what he would get.
Yes, I mean there are other things on the way, you understand.
Yeah.
But that's the
All
direction
beyond.
he's going.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to need one more streetwise check with intellect, please.
Ah, yes, a good one to finish with. 11.
That's a 9 plus 3 is 12.
Fantastic.
These
I
dice
finally
have been
rolled
getting better and
plus
better.
I know, we had a couple of wobbly ones.
I finally rolled a good one for him. Okay. As he travels, he's increasingly confident, it seems, that he's thrown his tail, and as he gets closer to his destination, he suddenly turns and disappears into one of the accommodation units. It is in fact not the one that leads to the crime scene, but it is one of the ones that's adjacent to it.
One of the three, or on a different, or on an adjacent.
An
corridor.
adjacent set, basically.
Yeah.
So if you imagine each sort of lift shaft goes down multiple levels, and then each of those has multiple spokes off it, and then each of those has rooms off it. He's in one that is near, but not that lift shaft. It's a different one, but it's
Okay. Okay.
He could have just gone down there the day before to knock on the door because he was making too much noise. Turn that music down! I can hear it through my wall. Noisy geologists.
Always possible.
Always.
Too much rock and roll. Don't pity laughing.
There's no pity coming after that one, that's for sure. Hatred, maybe. Okay, so he's local. Okay. So I will say to Agnar, did you see him? He's just gone into that room. I think he thought he'd lost us, but we're equal to him.
Now, bear in mind, he's just gone down in a lift shaft that probably leads to about 36 rooms.
Okay. I mean, I guess now we either wait for him to come back up, or we can we see where the lift stops? Is it one of those, classic? You can read the numbers of the floor that the lift is on above the lift.
That's a very good point. Actually, you can't see where it stops exactly, but what you definitely can do, because it's an open cage lift, is actually see how far down it's gone before it stops.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a very good point. Yeah. Roll an intellect check.
Well done, Agnar.
Oh dear.
Top work.
That's an 8 plus 0 is an 8.
Okay. The lift goes down 2 of the levels, of the 3 levels that make up the full shaft, and is therefore, in practical terms, at the same deck level as the crime scene as well.
Okay. I'm pretty sure he went down 2 levels. I could be wrong.
So what does that?
But that would put him on the same floor as the room for Brett Sager.
So what does that narrow it down to? About 3 sets of 3 or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
Okay.
We could risk that and go down, or we could risk it and wait here for him to come back up, I guess. Or, I suppose potentially what we could do is we could contact Sharp. We've not got a lot. We've not got a lot to go on, if I'm honest. If we're bringing her into it, but I don't feel as though she's got a lot to go on kind of person. She felt as though she liked to tie things up quite nicely, but I feel as though she could do that.
You know who we've not contacted for a while
without us
that we could make use of? How about What about Johnny? Our boy Johnny. Johnny's good at nosing around. He's got the
The
skills.
last time I contacted Johnny and asked him to help me nose around somewhere was the first time that I met Olivia Sharp. standing the other side of a door that he was breaking into. I mean, it feels a difficult decision for me to make, if I'm honest. So,
Rose is around if Cara's willing to let her go on a risky mission. Zoe, we don't need to be on our own. We can keep an eye here until some people come, and we could almost spread our. We don't have to double down on one spot.
Open up our net and
Yeah,
capture. But I mean, frankly, all we've got to go on is some stolen security camera footage. The word of, quite frankly, a very upstanding and a beautiful Varga, but nonetheless, his word on a belt, and the general location of this person that was wearing a belt, mixed with the fact that he looks somewhat like the security camera footage, it feels a long shot.
Are we anywhere?
All I'm saying.
Ben, are we anywhere near where the Varga said the suspect, his potential suspect, is staying? Hey, Skis, you all right?
Hey, Skis.
I suppose it depends on your definition of anywhere near. I mean,
it doesn't feel massively close.
No, not right round the corner, but not very far away either.
Okay.
But I feel as I'm going to be honest here. So I feel as though if we're going to go calling someone out and accusing them and potentially getting Johnny to break into their room, that it's probably best if we have somebody of the security force with us to, back up what is said, witness what is said. I don't know. I might be wrong.
If you want to narc, Agnar, we can narc. Oh, this is always the same.
I mean, eventually we're gonna report whatever we find to the authorities by some means, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you suggest we do?
I just wonder whether I'm happy to talk with Sharp. I just always feel that 4 pairs of eyes are better than 2, if that makes sense. We can make sure that we can get down there and make sure the guy hasn't left the scene, but it might be good to just get some eyes on and floating around in case there's a runner or things happen or something, if you want to get Sharp involved.
I mean, we don't have to. I just feel as though we've got to the point with her where it feels like it's going to go one way or the other. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I'll tell you what. You call Sharp. I'll call Johnny and Zoe just to get them to come down and have brunch.
Yeah.
Let them come down and have brunch. Maybe
backup is a good idea, regardless.
Yeah. Yep. Make Johnny, Zoe, see if Rose wants to come. Minutes. Exactly. Just get them to sit around and just say, if a big furry man comes running past, jump on big furry man. But otherwise, they can just enjoy a nice brunch on us. And then if you call Olivia Sharp, and I guess...
Does this mean I'm paying for another brunch?
Not necessarily. Only if...
I don't mind.
Only if the powers that be decide that's what's going to happen.
Just so we know where we stand. I don't mind. I'll call Sharp. You call Johnny.
And I'll call Johnny, Zoe, and Rose. So quickly, because I'm guessing the meet will be the Sharp call. Are any of them interested in coming, Ben? If I say, we've got some eyes on a potential suspect, anyone want to come and sit down, grab a bite or a drink, and just keep an eye on these rooms?
Yeah. Rose is actually quite excited at the thought.
Yeah.
And if Rose is coming, Zoe's coming with her. She won't let Rose go anywhere without someone keeping an eye on her back.
Yep.
Johnny is definitely up for whatever you need him to do. So yeah, there won't be any difficulty with getting them on board.
Cool. So it's just as a back, like you said, you're just like a net, really. They don't need to be involved in anything, and no one needs to know they're doing anything. But settle down. The two girls together, maybe getting a bite to eat. Johnny getting a newspaper, cutting a couple of holes in it. Just lurking.
Sure. Because that's a really
Fedoras
subtle thing to do.
Fedoras all round.
Exactly.
Fedoras and newspapers.
Just turn a collar up and they run away.
Yeah.
There we go.
No. Okay. So over the next 20 minutes or so, everyone starts to arrive, and you want to make a call to Sharp as well.
Yeah. Agnar will make a call to Sharp. First off, he'll send a quick message to Kara and just say, just quickly, you gave Sharp the security. Sorry, I forget what Agnar knows and what he doesn't know.
He doesn't. But
Does
Kara
Agnar know?
No. Kara
No.
did. Kara did give her the footage, though. So if you are asking, part of the deal was that she would give the footage over. I believe, Ben, wasn't it? I think
Yes, she did indeed.
He won't play. What he would probably do is probably ask what she told Sharp. I suppose is the easiest way to gather the most information that he could possibly use to help his case.
I said I broke in.
And then whatever you want to say.
I said I broke in. I looked around. He was already dead. I took photos, which I showed. That the body was there. She was surprised that the body was there when I actually broke in. I said I've got the footage and showed the footage, and that's about it. I didn't do anything about. I agreed that I wouldn't break in anywhere else. I remember that, and I didn't say anything though about our return. I don't think, and I didn't say anything about Stefan footage or anything either. I purely kept it to that one time at band camp kind of thing. But I said everything about that.
Okay.
Did I tell her about the cube? I think I said I nicked the cube as well.
Yes.
Didn't I?
You not only told her about the cube, you gave her the cube.
There we go. So those are the things that I was in there. Saw the body and the cube went.
Message back and just confirm. So you showed her the footage, and I forget the other point I was going to make. You showed her the footage.
I gave her the footage.
Okay, that's fine. It's all good. Oh, and you didn't promise that the rest of us wouldn't break into anywhere else, did you? Just you. Because I'm with Soraya and it feels like she's got plans.
I said I would not break in or lie. I think I will stay true to the not breaking in.
Yeah, that's fine. As long as you didn't promise for the rest of us. It's all good. Okay, thanks. I've got a phone call to make. See you later.
Yeah. All right. Yes.
Cool.
And he'll call Sharp.
All right.
Sharp.
Sharp answers. Hello.
Hello, Sharp. It seems a little bit strange, and it might seem a little bit paranoid. But I'm with Soraya, and I understand that Kara gave you showed you some security footage of the corridor. We're somewhat confident that we've identified the Varga that was seen on the footage.
Really? That would be interesting.
We It was quite by chance in passing. We're stood pretty much at the elevator shaft entrance to what I believe they went down 2 floors. I can't be certain, but we're there now. I just thought it was useful information for you.
It could be. Which elevator is that?
He'll look up
Yep.
at whatever's above the elevator.
Yep, he'll indicate the number.
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to roll a persuade for me, please, with your choice of intellect or social.
Oh no, this is the one.
In fact, your case probably social, I think, would make more sense.
Yeah. Oh, it's not bad though. It's a 9 plus 2 social minus 3 intellect. So it's an 8.
Okay.
But it could be worse.
No, that's not too bad. All right. There's sort of a pause while Sharp digests this, and then she says, there is a Varga who has a room in that unit, and it is in the middle floor. His name's Midran Dakstar.
Spell him, please.
Midren.
Midren, yep.
Daxtar.
Daxtar. Strong Varga name. Midran Dakstar.
That's a good name.
It says, I'm looking at his image now, and you know what? He could be the Varga on the video. Now, I'm going to give you his actual room number, which is in that unit. And I need to make one thing very clear. I'm giving you his room number, but I'm not suggesting that you go and approach him. In fact, I'm giving you his room number so that should you find yourself down there, if anything should happen to make you go down that lift shaft for any reason whatsoever, you will know which door not to knock on. Am I understood?
Loud and clear. I understand that perfectly.
Excellent. So she gives you his room number, and says, obviously, we would be looking for any ongoing assistance you can provide in our investigation. But just so we're clear, I am not authorizing you to approach a passenger of this ship.
She's washing her hands rapidly of that, isn't she?
Loud and clear.
Okay.
Thank you for the phone call. I almost said assistance, but there was no assistance there. It's been nice to chat.
Strong social skills there, Agna.
Well, it's the wrong kind of social situation for Agna. Give him some hoity-toity.
Some pomp and circumstance.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, all clear. Thank you. Soraya,
Yes.
I got the guy's name. It's Midran Dakstar.
Midran
Midran
Dakstar.
Dakstar.
Strong Varga name.
It is a very strong Varga name. The Dakstar family. I also got his room number, but that's when it got a little bit weird, because I was told that by no stretch of the authority of Sharp were we to approach any passenger on this ship? I'm pretty sure she said any. But also she wanted to thank us for our ongoing help in the investigation. Which implies to me that either one of those things isn't true, or that she wants us to investigate this further, but without approaching Midran.
Oh, you must have sent some men off in Black Ops before, General Arnson.
Yeah.
This is all very.
I mean,
it's all very washing our hands of it. She's basically saying, "Go over there, rough him up, but if there's trouble, we'll arrest you and deny all knowledge."
well, it's two. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ben, from Agnar's experience, but there's two things here. It could be go in there and rough him up, and she's got nothing to do with this, or it could be wait for him to leave and then break into his room with some kind of weird explosive that you fashioned from some shotgun shells and truth serum and have a look around and see what's going on.
I would roll an education check for me.
Okay.
Oh, he's very educated.
He's reasonably well educated, but he rolled a 4 plus 2 is 6.
Okay. You can't be certain is the answer, but reading between the lines, it seems as if for one reason or another, you don't know why, Sharp isn't keen on pursuing this particular person. It could be because he's rich, it could be because he's powerful, it could be all sorts of things, but whatever reason, she doesn't really want to get her hands dirty with this particular thing. So she is very clearly saying that you can approach it as calmly or as carefully, as secretly or as overtly as you like. Just don't ever blame it on her. That's your best guess.
Soraya pings over to Kara and says, "Can you just do like one of your Google search plus things to see if Midran Daxter is a big cheese in anything?"
Unfortunately, Kara is busy running a search.
She is. Then can Soraya just do a Google search not plus to see if Midran Daxter shows up on Google Images or there's any quirky videos of him dancing or anything like
fromage.
that? Yeah.
Yeah. Roll your electronics computers check with intellect, please.
Okay, so it's -1 + 1 0. Good old jack of all trades. Oh, see, it's a 7, flat 7.
The 7. Okay. As far as you can tell from your basic overview, Midran Daxter has made no significant footprint whatsoever. He doesn't appear to be wealthy or famous or powerful or anything else, as far as you can tell.
She'll say it to Agnar. She'll say, "Well, he's not massively famous, if anything, and he doesn't seem to have done anything of note."
He's no tell on that.
No. Oh, who is?
Who is?
I've only ever seen one man with arms as strong as Rax.
Agnar flexes and
it's not. and she's like touches the form, push them down a little bit, and it's not you, dear Agnar.
Yeah, it's the guy who died because we rolled a 3. Okay. So I think actually, though I would like to leave it on more of a cliffhanger, this might be a good time to stop because I think you guys are going to want a few moments to decide how to proceed.
It feels like a suitable cliffhanger of sorts.
Yeah, this is in fact a completely level plane hanger.
Yes.
with no actual
Yeah,
hanging
yeah.
of any kind. But nonetheless, it may be a completely flat and in fact comfortable surface, but you guys are lying down and holding on with all of your might.
That's pretty standard for us. It's not all not all chapters have to end like balls to the wall. Sometimes you need that gentler break in action.
We've got something to
Absolutely.
see, and we're going to pursue it. Maybe.
I do tend to agree.
2 bones.
Now we do have one relatively small bit of housekeeping we have to finish up, which is that I need to roll the next set of overs for the match.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
that's right. I'll put a pencil away. That was foolish. Hang on.
Don't forget the cricket scores, Luke.
I know. How could I do that? I got carried away. And yes,
So
we'll
the new
Rose's cat
new
after as
batsman
well.
is Halston Wood.
Fulston Wood.
Anna Rose.
Hang on a sec. Let me write Dillab Brew. Hang on. All right, up here. Hang on. Dillab Brew. How have I been tracking this? It's 10 overs, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay.
We were 12 overs in.
12 overs. That's at 2 lots of 6. And we were batsman 1 is still in. So it's batsman 1 and 4. How cool.
1 and 4. Yep.
Okay, I'm ready to roll when you are.
Okay, the first 2 I've done for you.
Yep.
Halston Wood, the new batsman, scored 6 off his first over.
Yep.
And then Richards, the opener who's still in, did a 4.
Okay.
Okay, you got some dice ready?
Yes, I have.
Okay, you're rolling for Wood.
Oh no, I roll badly for Wood. I don't want 6s, do I? No, hang on. Is 6s 6? I can't remember. 6s makes an out.
I'm not going to
doesn't
tell you the rules.
it? Oh, you bummer.
Because then you
2
might find out
6s!
something that's not a 6.
We'll work them out, of course.
Well, I know a 4 and a 5 is a terrible roll for me.
A 4 and a 5. Yeah, that is. That is indeed a 5-run over.
Yeah. Okie dokie.
Uh,
Oh, we're playing test scores. To take the highest one. Here we go. And a 6 and a 3 for batsman 1.
is a 6-run over.
Oh no. Oh no. This is not good. This is not good. That's 21 runs so far.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And another couple
2 and a 2.
is a 2-run over.
Okay. And to finish off, Dubs 5.
Ooh.
That's to Leslie Richards. That is a 5-run over, which ends with him caught.
Serves him right. Serves him right. Flash. 28 though. That's a lot of runs. That's 83. 3. Oh no. Not bad. They've got to be happy with that, surely.
I think Richards as a sort of opener and stalwart of the team, he would have hoped to get a bit further up than 28, but it's not terrible, is it?
He got 45. He got.
Did he?
Him.
Oh, hang on a sec.
That's
9, 13, and 12, 25, and 5, 30. Yeah, exactly. 45. You're right. That's not bad at all.
Goodness, that's what you want. God, dear. Very upset. Well, at least he's out. That's
so
the main
new
thing.
batsman. You'll discover that a few of these names have some kind of inspiration taken from various cricketers. And the new batsman for Dillabrew, who's their number 5, is Colin Knight.
Colin Knight. Like Colin Cowdrey and Nick Knight all rolled into one.
Indeed. Because, we live in Kent.
Exactly.
So yes, we'll call it there for the cricket scores for now.
Cool. 83 for 3. Well,
we've done a bit more.
Okay, that's good. That's good. At least there was a breakthrough. That's important. Sadly, Sarai missed that. That's right at the end of the spell. There was as people were coming out. She was stuck following some stupid Varga with some stupid Varga.
And
Would
she
she
would
have
have heard
heard
it.
the massive cheer?
Yeah. Oh.
And she would definitely have heard it.
What a miserable end. Right. In that misery, I suppose we need to do a Rose's cat, Ben, or you do anyway.
Do we? Okay. Has Sparrow redeemed a Rose's cat?
He has.
She
He
has
has.
indeed.
Excellent stuff. Okay. Meanwhile, on the Baltic Star, Rachel Axis was reviewing the engineering checklists. Almost everything that was done twice or more on a starship was ruled by checklists. Some of them were very familiar because people used them frequently. Some were less common, only used in emergencies or for annual maintenance. Many of the checklists had originally been written by the ship's architects or the designers of the engines. Others were internally generated. As a rule, there were two places the checklists were found. A digital copy was stored on the ship's computer, accessible by any crew member who needed it, and arranged as a form so someone could touch the box next to each item on the list when it'd been completed. These included some complicated adaptable lists that changed depending on the result of a specific check. For emergency purposes, the most critical checklists were also engraved on the hidden side of certain access panels on the ship. So if you swung a panel open in order to, say, restore oxygen pressure to a compartment, the most essential steps were printed on the inside of the panel to follow in case the emergency had left you without computer access. There were a few procedures that were done routinely and which required opening access panels to the crawl spaces in engineering or avionics, and they now posed a specific risk. There had been a number of close calls. As the final step in these checklists, there was always an instruction to close the access panel. But on the Baltic Star, there needed to be a penultimate step now added into these lists: check for cat. Rose's adventurous kitten was often interested in crawling inside these spaces, and if not reminded, it would be all too easy for the panel to be closed and the tiny cat would then be trapped. In fact, the ship typically came to an operational standstill at least once each day, as everyone went looking for the animal, a task that might take just a few minutes, but could take a lot longer if she was behind a panel in engineering. Suddenly, Axis felt the pressure of a small paw against the back of her neck. Of course, the cat had discovered the small hollow that in a working vac suit was on top of the housing for the folded helmet that sat at the top of the wearer's back. Axis reached a hand back, but the cat wriggled down into the space, so there was no way to wrap fingers under her and evict her from the space. The kitten purred and batted at the hand with her paws. Axis gave up and, as the back of her head was patted by paws in a random drumbeat, opened the checklist for sealing a vac suit. She looked at the instructions and worked out where to put the check for cat entry. After all, if the list wasn't amended, the unsuspecting crew member was very likely to pull the helmet over their head, only to discover there was a kitten between their face and the inside of the visor, which might interfere with their performance. Axis paused. Before writing the procedure, she actually had to work out how to extract a kitten from the helmet housing. This could take a while. Okay, there you go.
Nice.
I always mark for a Rachel Access appearance. That's everyone else. That Rose's cat. I'm like, oh, Rachel Access appearance, excellent. There's something for everyone, quite frankly.
There is. There really is.
Speaking of something for everyone, tomorrow night, Ben, you might get to exact some murder. Something you've longed for many a month.
Murder most foul.
Have you not, in fact, repeatedly told people over the last week or so that you felt very strongly that our Halloween game would contain no violence or murders of any kind.
I've said that. I've said that every single time I've done a Luke plays for about the last week and a half. Yeah.
Yeah. So naturally, that must be what's going to happen then.
We're just gonna cruise on by. There's gonna be a horrific killer, but the jock and the whatever the female version of the jock is, the female jock.
Yes. So tomorrow night, we are playing a Halloween one-shot at 11 o'clock. That's UK time, and we are. Well, without giving away the rules or anything like that, we'll cover that tomorrow. It is set in 1978 in a small town in Illinois. And that's all the clue I'm giving you. And I'm sure it'll be fun. Well, I say I'm sure. It is literally, it's never been played before, this particular iteration of the game. This is not only its first playing, it's play test. And I feel it's wise to do that live on the internet.
Oh.
What more could you want? What more could our viewers want? What more could anyone want?
Exactly.
Sounds spectacular, Ben.
Yeah, and with any luck, I will actually post the rules up to the Discord channel afterwards. So if you want to have a go at it yourself, you can use the same rules.
And suitably spooky, I'm sure.
Well, I don't know if spooky's quite the right word. I would go with
spoopy,
terrifying.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
All of
high pressure, abject terror, I think, is what I'm aiming for.
Yeah. The only thing that will terrify you is our bad decision making.
Is Fess showing up? What makes it terrifying?
He's the man behind the mask.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
It was
no
me
spoilers
all along.
Not allowed any spoilers.
It sounds brilliant.
Anyway, we'll give it a shot. Hopefully it'll be enormous fun. And if it isn't, then you can blame me because I wrote the rules and everything.
There's no blame, Ben.
There is no blame. There's no blame in TTRPG.
If there was, it would.
No, that's true. It's one of the nice things about TTRPG.
Yeah. To paraphrase, I mean, I didn't quite say it right, but to paraphrase, is it Tom Hanks?
Yes.
In A League of Their Own.
Yep.
There's no blame in TTRPG.
There's no blame in TTRPG. No. Right. Excellent. Thank you, guys. That was enormous fun, and thank you to everyone in chat. It was really, really entertaining this evening. I thought we had a thoroughly nice time.
Thoroughly.
Most definitely.
Nice. All right. I'm going to go and fall asleep in a pool of sweat somewhere.
Right. Well, I shall probably jump on the Discord for a little bit. It won't be very late this evening because I've got things to do, but I shall probably jump on the Discord in case anyone wants to chat for a little bit while I finish my wine, basically.
Exactly. I've still got half a glass, so I shall jump on as well.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. And see you tomorrow with any luck for our Halloween thing. And then Sunday, you're doing a Luke Plays on Sunday.
I am. I'm re-downloading Until Dawn now, which is about a load of teenagers up in the mountains in a big spoopy house. And it's got Hayden, whatever her name is, face, and Remy Malek. Pantier? I can never say it.
Yep.
And
Hayden Panettiere, yeah.
And it's one of those.
Promised to play it with the lights out.
The lights are going to be out, and I'll be sat there with the lights out, and I'll manage a couple of hours until I have a little cry. Because you have to answer questions at the start. Basically, it's like, what are these things scare you the most? And it bases it a little bit around the things that scare me. I'm going to be honest about what scares me. And so we'll have a little bit of a cry together on
Brilliant.
It's Halloween night, isn't it? So it's fitting.
Yes, it is. It's actual Halloween night. So that'll be lovely. We will look forward to that, and we will do the Halloween one shot tomorrow. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, Luke. Thank you, Ewan.
It's been a treat. Ben. Thank you all.
Thanks,
good night,
Chris.
everyone. Farewell.
See you tomorrow, hopefully.
Yes. Well, hopefully. See you tomorrow.